there and went on to higher heights. But on the flip side, looking at Waterhouse, they too have a lot of quality. Two-time champions, the same that there's quality, but they have always been the bride, but never the bride. And I think this season they have been very consistent, especially with the change of coach from Marcel Gay to Javier Einstein. There's much more to come from this Waterhouse team.
And when you think about, especially from a Waterhouse perspective, you're much closer to the Waterhouse side of things. As you mentioned, they're usually the bridesmaid. 5 times more than any other team, they have come second in the Jamaica Premier League. What do they need to do tonight or this evening to get the better of this Cavallier team?
In regular season, they would have scored 18 times in the first half. Scoring twice in the first leg of the quarterfinals would have made it 20 times. Waterhouse would have scored in the first half. Second half, they would have scored 22 times. That equal to 40 goals overall through the season. So yes, they can start well, but they can also finish well. Cavallier, on the other hand, would have scored 15 goals in the first half and 30 goals in the second half. So they are a finisher team. So for Waterhouse to get a claim of 3 points and move on to the semi-finals, a hurdle goal and maintaining it, because we would have seen in the second half that poor game management in the second half would have cost them that 2-0 lead for this leg.
Yeah, and that's a very good point.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of improvement from a Waterhouse perspective ever since their head coach Javier Einstein came into play, and we're going to speak to him very soon, as a matter of fact. Javier Einstein, I think he has come in, he has stabilized this Waterhouse team, and we see the clean sheets that they've had, the points they've accrued, and he's going to come into frame very shortly, and we're going to have some questions. I know you have a lot of questions for him as well, in particular. And quickly before he comes into frame, this coach, Javier Einstein, do you think he can lead Waterhouse to a title? That's the first question I have to ask you.
He's a hard taskmaster, so he has brought a freshness of discipline within the team, within the squad. And I think based on that, he has propelled the team to be a very structured team, a very organized team, and I think he has the magic wand to make Waterhouse win.
Well, our analyst here says yes, you have all the magic, coach. What magic are you planning to produce tonight to give your team, the Waterhouse team, an advantage over Cavallier?
Good evening for everybody first. We're trying to give happiness to our fans, to give a good match for everybody that is here on the National Stadium watching the match. And today the changes to trying to be a little more offensive with Javan Bryan from the start, and it's a good news or a good notice for us. They come back to Colorado Murray today for the bench, but it's little by little coming back. Maybe we changed the formation. The last match we play 5-2-2. Today, more likely is a 3-4-3, and we try to get the semi-final. It's not a secret. It's our objective for today to win the match, and it's the same for Cavallier. So both teams are trying to do the same, but with different styles of play.
And Coach, one thing that has been a mainstay in how you coach, you always have an half-time change. Would you say that in the first leg on Sunday, did it affect the overall outcome of the game based on from your perspective?
But the changes always I do similar changes on the halftime. I know that is the opinion of the people.
Yeah.
But we're trying to change the one number 6 and 2 number 8 for 2 number 6 and 1 number 10 was an offensive change with Mario Sims. If Mario with his shot of mid-distance scored, we are talking about another thing. But okay, we got a tie, and okay, maybe wasn't good or not, but the problem in the last part of the first half, between the lines, was solved, okay? But maybe wasn't our best night on the back, but with these 3 center backs, we are here on the playoff because they play so good all the season.
I agree with you, coach, and all the best tonight. We'll be speaking to you after the game as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, coach, no problem.
Yeah, that was head coach Javier Einstein of Waterhouse. Before we speak to the Cavalier side of things, what did you make of his comments tactically, of course?
Yeah, yes, he has to go for it because, I mean, in the game, we would have seen that Cavallier would have moved from a 4-2-3-1 to a 3-4-3, and I didn't think Waterhouse adjusted quite well to that. Now we are joined by the man himself, and assistant coach David Lela. Mr. Lela, happy to see you. How are you?
Happy to be here.
Okay. All right. So, speak to us about the momentum coming into this game. Waterhouse would have taken the early lead, but you would have came back 2-2. Would you say that momentum is with Cavallier to win?
Some would say that, but I just leave it down to adjusting the system. And so, going into this game, yes, to some extent, we believe that we have a particular momentum if we keep it, or we're supposed to keep it.
And from a defensive standpoint, the pairing of Giovanni Leng and Akil Henry, yes, we would have lost Richard King, but how would you say assess the overall performance of those two centre-back pairings throughout the league?
They're work in progress, and a lot of room for improvement, and we're working on them. They're getting better, and they'll only get better.
And Coach Daniel would have asked about the tactical side of things. I want to ask you about the psychological side of things. Cavalier is a winning institution. Back-to-back titles, but you're a very young team. A leader, I've heard you speak before about Gio Leng and his impact on the defense and all of his aspirations. You could say he was at fault for a couple of the chances conceded. What is his mindset like coming into a game like this?
Yes. Giovanni Leng know what time it is, and so I guess today he just have to turn up big for himself, the team, and the youngsters that he's leading. Because of course, you know, youngsters they look to the mature players all the time, and so you can't mature player making all of mistakes. But Giovanni know what time it is.
I agree with you, Coach, and you certainly look like you know what time it is as well, Coach. All the best today.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. All the best.
All the best, Coach.
So, the stage you said, practically with Jay, Waterhouse, Cavallier, it is a battle for ages. If we were to call it, which other players do you think can definitely step up? I think Omani Leacock was okay, but was not superb.
Yeah, Omani Leacock, for my money, has been one of the two best central midfielders in the Jamaica Premier League this season. I think that he had his moments, but Cavallier did a good job of condensing the midfield space, not allowing him to play the game that he would want to progressively. But I do think that you can't discount his quality, especially in ball progressions, and I'm looking forward to see what he can provide in this game. From a Cavallier perspective, we already mentioned Kimali Scott, but I want to put it down to the same player that we just spoke to Coach Lela about, Giovanni Leng.
Yes.
Experienced player. Was a part of a final between Waterhouse and Cavallier back in 2021. Yeah. Missed a penalty on that day. Maybe Waterhouse is his bogey team because he was also, for my money, poor in the first leg. He has to step up as a senior defender, the senior player in this Cavallier team. We know his quality. It's time for him to provide and do what he has to do.
A person that must come to light, Adrian Reed, he has had his injuries throughout the season, was one time playing at right back and now he's in his natural position. A fit Adrian Reed can be a superb masterclass against any team. How do you grade his performance since he has been consistently playing in his natural position?
I think it's been consistent. I think you used the word perfectly. Adrian Reed Jr. is a player that has experience despite his young age, has played in 3 Jamaica Premier League finals at different positions, as you would have mentioned, but in central midfield, he always makes his impact felt, and that's the most important thing, having that character, having that personality as a young central midfielder to provide those winning moments. And as we speak about winning moments, I have to ask you,
yes.
I'm the prediction guru, but I like to delegate responsibilities. I know you're a big Waterhouse guy, but put your biases aside.
Yeah, put it aside.
What is your prediction for this game here this evening?
Based on depth in quality, I will go with Waterhouse winning 2-1.
2-0. You know, I don't like agreeing with my co-host too much when it comes on to predictions.
We think alike.
We think alike. I've known you for quite some time, so it is pretty evident why we would think the same way. But I also would go for a Waterhouse 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised if this game goes to extra time and penalties. That is the Cavallier way, and we have seen it in the past as well.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I'm going for personally. I'm looking forward to see what both of these teams can produce tonight. But until then, on this National Stadium pitch, on such an occasion, I personally can't wait. I'll be on commentary with Dean Smith. I'm sure we'll be seeing much more of you, not only tonight, but also throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Quick word before you go on the Portmore game and Racing United. That was also a scorcher. Quick word.
I spoke to the coach of Racing this morning, and he said that he's going for it. And the racing unit, Tajay, yes, they might not have the depth in quality as Portmore would have, but the momentum, as you just spoke about, Cavallier having the momentum, they too have the momentum coming to this time.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Coming back from 2 goals is one thing. Coming back from 3 goals is a whole other ball game. So I have to ask you again a quick prediction. I know we're almost going to be up on a break to head into the commentary for the first game, the Cavallier Waterhouse game. Quick prediction. I won't give mine.
I want to say Racing 2-1.
I disagree with that. I think Portmore is going through, but we have to see.
That's a problem. We can't agree to disagree.
For once.
Yes.
So after this, we're going to join the commentary. We're going to have a quick break. It's Cavallier taking on Waterhouse, second leg, Jamaica Premier League action, quarter-final, second leg. Stay tuned.
Montilivi hosts an attractive clash. Girona want to rediscover their best version at home, while Real Sociedad is looking to further cement its status as one of the top contenders this season. 2 brave approaches, face to face. The Bernabeu is dressed for a gala night with a clash of contrasts. Real Madrid want to close the season with pride and joy in front of their fans, while Oviedo face a visit of maximum difficulty, dreaming of an upset. Full pressure in the capital.
After challenge, you see true power. It's not something you can buy or collect. It's something that starts on the inside, and you always know it when you see it. Sunshine Snacks Peanuts, proud supporters of the powerful.
Ray and Navy, feel the culture, yo!
New beginning, we're winning, so share our spirit where you're living, yeah.
Share it!
I make we all a one bar, you don't know we come from far.
From far, easy. Anytime we rep, feel the country. Real rum, it have to come with me.
No matter with the bad vibes.
Poor real rum, a celebration time.
I feel the culture. Make we show ya. Jamaican culture.
Ray and Navy, overproof from what just a do it to the culture.
A CB chicken,
A better way.
introducing air chill chicken. It have more flavor, you don't know what you're missing. It tastes better, full of flavor in the kitchen. Better for the better taste, better chicken. CB chicken, tastes way better. Air air chilled chicken. Taste way better. Better taste, better chicken. No antibiotic and hormone free. Have you tasted the new air chilled chicken? My chicken now. CB chicken. It tastes way better.
I save from VM Building Society. Every deposit got me here. Every step forward put me in the driver's seat.
For everything you're looking forward to, open an iSave account today. Visit GoTo.
Mestalla host a match full of urgency. Valencia want to keep growing in front of their fans and move away from danger, while Rayo seek points away from home to stay alive. An open contest in the capital of the Turia.
What a wonderful scene here at the National Stadium for JPL quarterfinal action. This is a big matchup. The first leg ended in a 2-2 draw, Waterhouse and Cavallier, but they renew their rivalry, and this is expected to be a battle of attrition. Dean Smith in commentary. I'll be joined in a short while by Lejay Williams. Always great to be inside the JPL. The teams have marched out and they'll be greeting each other, doing all the pleasantries. Of course, coverage brought to you courtesy of the Jamaica Premier League and our many sponsors. So happy to have them with us. Waterhouse, led by their captain, Kimani Campbell. He's already with the team of officials. Of course, this is a very solid cast of officials leading the proceedings for this one. But let's have a look at the Waterhouse lineup.
Yeah, Waterhouse FC. Roger Williams in goal, Kimani Campbell, Rashawn Amos, Javane Bryan leading the line alongside Neran Barrow today, Omani Leacock, Kavis Paul, the aforementioned Neran Barrow, Jesus Mario Gudino, Shamari Dyer, and Shamari Dallas. Javier Einstein said they're switching from a 3-5-2 to a 3-4-3. Cavallier, they're going for something similar as well. Jamari Gordon in goal, Gio Leng, Shamar Watson, Akil Henry, Daryl Massacre, who was on target in the first leg, Adrian Reed, Kimardis Scott, who got a goal and assist as well, Dwayne Allen, Lewis Watson, Livingston Donaldson, and Christopher Ainsworth, the man who has played the most minutes in the Jamaica Premier League this season. Rudolph Speed, the technical director.
Well, the players to watch then are Thomas for Waterhouse. Of course, he had a goal in the first leg. Kimani Scott for Cavallier, he too had a goal. Quality players, as we see the referees having a quick chat with the team captains. Lejay, what a big matchup this is.
Yeah, it is, and Damian Parchment will be the man in charge. Experienced CONCACAF official Josette Kerr Wilson, Kedley Powell, his assistants, with Alexi Perry, the fourth official. And it's really shaping up to be a fantastic one. The National Stadium is always a perfect arena for any match of this magnitude. Two powerhouses in not only Kasafa football, Kingston and St. Andrew football, but all of football in or on the island of Jamaica. And after that first leg, what that served up 4 goals, I personally can't wait for something hopefully quite similar to that goal explosion.
It was something really to savor. Of course, the neutrals were wondering if Waterhouse would just breeze past Cavallier, but perhaps they didn't see what happened in the first leg, where Racing, with the most dramatic of comebacks, ended that one 3-3 against Portmore. They go in the late kickoff later on today, but that's a team of officials. Perhaps you could call it an Avengers cast of officials for Cavallier. How many titles between all these coaches?
Yeah, it's as players as well. Rudolph Speed, of course, no need to speak about his accomplishments. Marcel Fuzzy-Gale, of course, that's another wrinkle in this rivalry. He left Waterhouse in January, replaced by Javier Einstein, the Argentinian, who is now leading this Waterhouse team. There he is on the far left. He will be assisted by Alex Thomas. Also see former national under-20 player Luca Levy there on the coaching staff as well. So a lot of prestige, a lot of heritage, not only on the field, but on the coaching staffs as well. Looking forward to a big one, and we're only moments away from the commencement of what is shaping up to be a massive encounter.
Black with white trimmings for Waterhouse in their traditional yellow with some trimmings of blue there and thereabouts. The Cavallier in full black. Only moments of kickoff. JPL quarterfinal action leg 2 for your viewing pleasure. There we go. Cavallier in possession at the moment. Forbes to Reed. Michael Forbes, the tall man, can get the best clearance. They had a very shaky start in the first leg. Trying to make amends here, but Waterhouse with possession now. Buck gets it to Campbell. Here's Bernardo Thomas. Always a tricky customer, so silky on the ball, but he's stripped the possession, and it's out for a throw-in for Cavallier early in the proceedings. Throw taken. Through to Javane Bryan. Finds Denala Thomas. Has Michael Forbes the company. Denala Thomas tried to tiptoe into the 18-yard box. Wins a corner kick for Waterhouse, the first of the encounter.
Waterhouse trying to get one of those lightning starts, very similar to what they would have gotten in that first leg. Denardo Thomas played a key part in proceedings then as well, getting an assist in Aaron Barrow. Can he provide another assist with his in-swinging corner from his right boot?
Here's a corner kick. Headed away at the back post by Cavallier. Waterhouse still trying to regain possession, but now through Dwayne Allen, Cavallier tries to push forward. Ball sent wide. Kimani Scott. He sends it forward. Daryl Massicott is offside.
And that's the danger Cavallier always pose year after year. Tournament after tournament, league after league. So explosive on the transition, and Godino I think was a little bit misguided, especially in those transitional moments. As a defensive player, your option is always to delay. In the end, he opted, I would say, to engage. But luckily for him, Massicott didn't time his run effectively, and Waterhouse could escape.
Dyer tried that long ball forward, only out for a throw-in, and Cavallier will continue the business. Lewis Watson, of course, has come into the side at the beginning of the season. Of course, a former Kingston College player. His father, Raymond Watson, no stranger to coaching in the high school circuit, both at the under-16 and under-19 levels. Currently with Jamaica College in the under-19 competition, formerly of Kingston College, where he won many titles there as well. Good to see Lewis Watson back in the island doing his business, carrying the family legacy, so to speak.
Yeah, and had a pretty impressive performance in that first leg. Always difficult, especially against this Waterhouse team that love to overload in the wide areas. Shamari Dallas constantly bombing down that right-hand side, plus that right-sided attacker. Today it's going to be Javane Bryan, so it's a much different proposition, a much more physical one as opposed to what he would have encountered in that first leg. It will be quite intriguing to see how he deals with it.
Still some minor defensive duties for Cavallier. Giovanni Leng, the most experienced player on this Cavallier setup now, the captain.
He really has seen it all, but I think in a few instances he let his team down in that first leg.
He did indeed.
Uncharacteristically, I must say, I won't frame it as if it's a norm for him.
Yeah.
He's been rock solid for Cavallier for quite some time now. But maybe now without his usual, I would say, partner, but he used to be partners alongside Kyle Ming before he went to Mount Pleasant at the start of last season. Now Richard King plying his trade over in Scotland at St. Mirren.
Had a goal yesterday, I believe, as well,
yeah,
Richard King. Yeah.
A much different proposition now for him.
For their credit, Cavallier have said that this is a rebuilding year. Whatever happens this year, they'll be satisfied with it. Knowing how used they are to winning, I'm not sure if I really believe that, but perhaps that's the statement they make for the media. But nonetheless, let's see how this one goes. In possession, Ainsworth tried the Galactico-like shot.
Never short on confidence is Christopher Ainsworth. We saw him ply most of his trade at left back throughout his Cavallier career so far. I believe that Shamari Dyer needing some assistance. The early proceedings in this one is going to be so important. We've already seen what momentum or a lack thereof can cause for either team. Waterhouse, I'm glad that their head coach Javier Einstein is so transparent with what he does tactically, because it is something I did notice in that first half. Going into the second, when they lost control, it was because firstly they couldn't maintain possession well enough, but there just wasn't enough movement between the lines, so those passes just weren't being fired through with the consistency that we're used to seeing from Waterhouse, and I think that's what led to them losing control, because they couldn't retain possession well enough. I think that's why we've seen the change of system here today, and it seems as if we're going to have a change in personnel early on as well, because Shamari Dyer is clearly really struggling, and they are calling for the stretcher for him
right now, says Daniel Parchment.
And Dwayne Berger, the Jamaica Youth International, is ready, stripped and gearing to go, but this would be a very, very big loss for this Waterhouse team, Dean. From experience as well, and the quality, of course. Berger is quality, but we're talking about experience at this level. Of course, Dyer playing many seasons in the playoff stage of the competition with Arnett before Waterhouse, so it's a big loss so early in the encounter. Yes, and with Harbour View as well, so he has title experience also. And Dwayne Berger coming on, I think, would also prompt a change slightly, not necessarily in the system, but how it's interpreted. Shamari Dallas, I assume, would be the one to go back into a centre-back position in that back three. It also could be Kimani Campbell. So I think maybe on the wider areas, Berger a much more attacking option. Waterhouse, maybe we're going for a little bit more balance, a little bit more defensive solidity. It's going to be quite intriguing to see how that changes proceedings, especially from a defensive standpoint. Yeah, hate to see a player exit so early. Of course, we wish him the very best. Hope it's something that he can recover from quickly. Should Waterhouse qualify to the next round, of course, the semi-final is set to begin on Sunday, and the team waiting for whoever wins this quarter-final leg is Montego Bay United. They finished second in the regular season. So confirmation of the substitute, Berger coming on for Shamari Dyer. Another player down for Waterhouse. Yellow card sent to Christopher Ainsworth. It was Berger immediately getting an introduction into proceedings, let's say. What a baptism of fire.
Shamar Dallas has certainly found favor with Javier Einstein. Einstein, I'm sure he wouldn't mind Einstein, but I've never seen him with so many minutes as a Waterhouse player. Of course, he's been used there and thereabout, but has been a staple in this Waterhouse setup under new management. Let's see if he rewards them in this particular matchup. Throwing for Cavallier. They win another one. Confirmation of that yellow card to Christopher Ainsworth. Now in the number 10 shirt for Cavallier. Picking up from where Dwayne Atkinson left off. He now applies his trade in the USL. Here's Waterhouse. Thomas gets it to Berger. First real touch of the ball now, Berger. Goes direct to Javane Bryan. His first touch wasn't perfect, but it's still alive. Maybe that was Naren Barr, actually. Javane Bryan tried to help him out after his first touch let him down. Throwing for Cavallier.
And with those two, I would say, twin towers up front, it is a much different proposition, as mentioned previously, as opposed to what Waterhouse would have done in that first leg. Another tough challenge coming in. Berger actually undercut Dwayne Allen. He said a baptism of fire. I think he's immediately into the wars, Dwayne Berger.
He's back up. Dwayne Allen still taking his time. He'll be fine. Happy to know that there's no more forced substitutions in this encounter. They resume immediately. Here's Watson. Perhaps winning a corner there. Yes, it is a corner. The first for Cavallier, that in the 11th minute of the encounter. They've always been having good fortunes from the dead ball. Cavallier, of course, the final match in the regular season had 2 goals courtesy of the dead ball. Adrian Reed, one of the scorers on that occasion. Now he's provider.
Certainly capable as well. As the lights flick on here at the National Stadium in Kingston.
Sent in the area. Over everyone at the back post. Here's Leng. Sends it back in the area. Ainsworth can't get it across. It's a throw-in.
Competitive and pretty even start to proceedings. I believe Cavallier prepping a long throw here courtesy of Adrian Reed Jr.
Here's that throw-in. Still some argy-bargy in the box. Waterhouse finally get it away, but to a Cavallier player. Here's Tallman send it into the area. Here's Akila Henry. The Trinbagonian. All the way back to the young goalkeeper. Gordon sends it up the field. Waterhouse get in possession. Here's the captain Campbell. Omani Leacock from the Bahamas. Make that Barbados. Berger can't keep that one in. It was a miscued kick from Cavis Paul, the Guyanese. Of course, I'm being deliberate to mention the international flavor, with a regional flavor if you want to be a bit more specific. Here.
It's littered all over this pitch at current.
Yeah.
With much more to come as well. If we're looking on the bench for both teams.
Good turn from Kimani Scott. Can he get by? Dallas there with him. Dallas did the business there. Scott won back the ball, but illegally, says referee Daniel Parchment.
And rest assured, this won't be the last time we see him nipping at a defender's heels throughout this game. A real bundle of energy is Kimani Scott. We saw that in full effect in the first leg. A goal and an assist led that comeback in a player of the match performance for Cavallier.
And in Parchment not happy with the 2 balls on the pitch. gets one off. Yeah, Kimani Scott. We saw it from last season in the Manning Cup, and of course, the season just concluded. He was able to guide his team to a trophy. Here's Massicott. 1-1 legally. The Antiguan sent it straight to the goalkeeper, Roger Williams, the man formerly of Veer, formerly of Arnett as well, and now with Waterhouse. Then out of Thomas.
Leacock certainly taking his time. Amos trying to launch that one forward. It's charged down. And Roger Williams back in possession.
Ball sent forward, but into touch.
The speed of pass for both teams not quite high in this game so far. I think that has led to a much lower tempo, especially from a Waterhouse perspective. Of course, Cavallier much more comfortable playing at a tempo like this. They do like to, I don't want to say drag games down to a lull, but that is certainly the tempo they prefer to play at. And that's the tempo, in all fairness, that has won them titles, the past 2 Jamaica Premier League titles, as a matter of fact.
And for those who perhaps are wondering about this Cavalier team, not that they lack speed, that's why they want to play at a lull. They definitely have speed up top, have always had speed up top. That's just part of the DNA of the team. And bringing it to the lull, as you mentioned, certainly aids in the transitional game that they have really mastered. Here's some action that they need to defend. Miscommunication again between Leng and Gordon. They haven't had the cell phone numbers really dialed in.
Yeah, from the first leg, I think Jamar Gordon has been a little bit indecisive when advancing off his line.
Good interception that from Shamar Watson. Kept it alive. Massicott couldn't get the header on that. Roger Williams, comfortable on the ball, is the goalkeeper for Waterhouse.
But sometimes a little bit complacent as well. Can put his team into some problems.
Can't have it all, can we?
Yeah. Does seem to be all about business so far today, though, as Leacock drive through the middle.
Barrow gets it to Donata Thomas. Has Kimani Campbell for company. Uses him now. Good challenge that. And the ball sent out by Livingston Donaldson. Former Garvey players, Donaldson. That's in the local rural area high school top flight, the Da Costa Cup. Were champions 2 seasons ago, Garvey since surrendering to St. Elizabeth Technical late in 2025, I beg your pardon. Here's action as Waterhouse try to clear their line. Blessed with early goals in both matches in the first leg of the quarterfinals. I'm wondering if there'll be a late flurry. Of course, I'm not sure the neutrals would want a penalty, the lottery of the penalty shootout to decide who goes forward. Lots of minutes left to decide. Here they come, Waterhouse. Bundled over by Adrian Reed.
There was a driving run coming in from Jesus Murillo Gudino, the man from Panama.
Free kick in a dangerous area.
Waterhouse are blessed with quite a few good set piece takers.
3 of them assembling.
Yeah, including the captain of the team, Kimani Campbell.
Based on the positioning, Kimani Campbell seems to be the one who will take it, or could it be Denardo Thomas? Minute number 19 in this encounter. Denardo Thomas over the top.
Never looked quite convinced as he struck that one, Denardo Thomas. Surprised as well that it wasn't the skipper that was the one engaging in that free kick. Certainly favored a left-footed option as well. But Denardo Thomas, his confidence surely high coming into this one. Goal and an assist. Big impact player, and has been for quite some time now for Waterhouse.
Has loads of skill. I remember when Jermaine Miller was a part of Marcel Gale's coaching staff, I asked him about just the demeanor of Denardo Thomas. Said he's one of the most quiet players he's ever come across, with so much skill and swagger on the field. And you know, he thought that had he been a bit more commanding, even as a person, you know, it would have translated at a higher level in his game. Sometimes it's just too easy going.
It does seem as if Javier Einstein has been getting the best out of him ever since he took over in January.
Here's Cavallier, Massicott. Didn't have the best first touch. Waterhouse trying to clear. They do win a throw-in courtesy. The ball being blasted on Daryl Massicott's body. Cavallier trying to win it high. Kavis Paul doing the business there. Nervous moment.
Yeah.
Had to be alert to that one. Just at a snapshot.
Yeah, it was Shamar Watson. I think he was just trying to hook that one back into a dangerous area. And it looked as if he was just going to creep into that back post. Roger Williams had to be alert.
Thankfully for Waterhouse and their supporters, here's the corner kick, retakes it, headed away by Javane Bryan at the back post. Donaldson tried to get the half volley.
Yeah, but handled it as he miskicked it as well. Waterhouse can get another opportunity to get some possession in this game. Neither team, I think, has quite settled in possession. It has been a game played with a lack of control, I might say, and that was exemplified there on the right-hand side through Donaldson.
The best Jamaican term I can use to describe the game, it's a bit pitchy-patchy. No real control, as you mentioned, here and there about. But Waterhouse, they're trying to settle in possession here. Haven't seen them do this in the 20 minutes prior. Here's Dallas. Gets it forward. Javane Bryan on the hunt. Giovanni Lang gets there before him. No nonsense in putting that one into touch.
It can give Waterhouse an opportunity to possibly load up that penalty area and provide a long throw.
3 players in the area, headed away by Lang. Here's Leacock, slipped, regained possession though. Almost thread that one through to the youngster Dwayne Berger.
A really good attempt there by Omani Leacock. Hasn't gotten on the ball much so far in this game. Being closely watched, closely marshaled, especially by Dwayne Allen. However, Cavallier weren't able to prevent this corner kick. It will be an outswinger. Denardo Thomas to whip it in.
All of 5 players in the box to aim for in a Waterhouse shirt. Oh, that was a good attempt, you know. Shamar Dallas wasn't able to provide the finishing touch there.
But Kimani Campbell was tripped up right on the edge of the penalty area. Referee Parchment was right on the scene. It was Donaldson and nah. It does seem as if that one was quite close to the penalty area.
Waterhouse not having the benefit of VAR. Certainly it wasn't that far away from the 18-yard box. It certainly wasn't that far away. Cavallier should call themselves lucky.
And I think this was a weird scenario where the player was traveling outside of the box instead of going into it. So it would be quite difficult for the referee to judge at that point. But I think when they watch this one back, it might be Waterhouse feeling hard done by, unless they convert this set piece nonetheless.
Denata Thomas in an Olympico-like position, and that one was far from any real quality.
Yeah, it was Naran Barrow. Pretty obvious set piece routine coming up there.
Cavallier launches one forward through lane. Scott trying to head that one. Does win it. Playing a bit of football, volleyball at the moment. Here's a shot. No real control from the experienced Dwayne Allen.
Always such a worker in that central midfield area for Cavallier. Always latching on as well to those loose balls, picking up right areas of space, which he did here very well. But as I said, no control in his effort.
Barrow gets it to Javane Bryan. Does well. Javane Bryan! Charged down by Giovanni Leng. You get the feeling that that was a very, very important defensive action from Leng. Cavallier still with the ball. Dwayne Allen trying to go forward. So many players from Waterhouse surrounding him. They win the possession now. Kevis Paul, the Guyanese, streaming forward. Gets it to Thomas. Back to Denata Thomas. Tried the 1-2, but wasn't the quickest to respond. Kevis Paul did win a throw-in for Waterhouse nonetheless.
And finally, the game getting a little bit stretched.
Agent Reed send this one forward to Massicott. Certainly not the ear of his body. He wanted that one to land.
And certainly not the control that Rashawn Amos wanted to effect as well.
Trading blows. Reed lobs this one forward. Massicott still trying to get there. Waterhouse trying to attack. Javane Bryan giving chase to that one. It was played off him by Lewis Watson.
He's asked to do quite a sacrificial role in this setup, is Javane Bryan. Not playing through the center as he's so accustomed to doing. Operating much more from a wider right area. Much more of a link player. Tries to flick that one on Dwayne Allen, but unable to connect with a teammate, or the ball for that matter.
Creeping up to half an hour in the encounter. Haven't really seen much in the way of goal-mouth action. No team exerting any real measure of dominance either. But that can change in a moment, in a flash really. Cavallier, they have possession. Throw taken by Watson to the captain Leng. Shamar Watson. Back to Akil Henry, 19-year-old from the Twin Island Republic. Another teenager in goal for Cavallier in the form of Gordon. He punts that one long. Their best spell of possession so far. Donaldson sends it in the area. Header! Follow up it's in! Knock, knock! Who is there? What a moment for Cavallier in the quarterfinal second round. And Adrian Reed, always there, always showing his quality. And it's a big moment for them, just at the stroke of half an hour.
Yeah, and we have been speaking in this game about Dwayne Allen and his ability to ghost into those right spaces, spaces that no one sees. He invades, and not only did he invade the space, he was also first to react from his own shot that was saved by Roger Williams fantastically as well. And Cavallier, after being 2 goals down in the tie, are now 3-2 up. They've effected the comeback, Dean.
They have. They really have. In the grand scheme of things, 3 unanswered goals as well. How does Waterhouse respond? I can legitimately say now, from your coach's hat, how does Waterhouse respond, Lejay?
Yeah, I think it's all about playing with a little bit more confidence.
Here they
trying
come.
to move the ball a little quicker, as Kimani Campbell was trying to do. Just play with a little bit more purpose. Everything that they do tactically is almost right. They're doing well. It's just about playing with some more purpose and a little bit more urgency, as Dwayne Allen was urgent in that scenario. Can one of their players be the first to meet this DeAndre Thomas corner?
Here's a big chance for Waterhouse. Kimani Campbell just wasn't there to capitalize. Good defensive work. From a Cavalier perspective, they win another throw-in, or a throw-in, to be a bit more specific. Dallas sends it in the area. Massicott trying to bring it away. Gets it to Kimani Scott. Can he beat his man? Kimani Scott, the little dynamo. Amos showing his quality. Gives it away though. Still alive for Cavallier. Trying to twist and turn. Here's Massicott. Has Donaldson for company. Opted for a central pass. That was cut out. Here's Brian. Leacock to Berger. Berger back to Leacock.
Finally getting some space in the middle of the park now, Leacock.
Can he be cut out here by Cavallier? They double, triple teamed him, but was able to pass it off. Roger Williams now in possession.
Yeah, they really did well there to set a trap for Leacock.
Ball forward to Donata Thomas. Silky smooth. That delivery. Perfect, if not perfect. Here's Dwayne Berger. Can't get it in. Always so tricky when the ball is bouncing there. Adrian Reed boots it forward. Can Kimani Scott keep it in? No, he can't.
Unable to do so.
Of course, spectators coming in all the while here at the National Stadium, the office, as it has been called, a la 1997-1998. Of course, the big matchup, the Portmore Derby. I see a wry smile on the face of John Stewart. He'll be in the commentary position for that matchup. Here's Waterhouse now. Barrow didn't have the best touch. Kimani Campbell, can he spring something from there? Couldn't. Here's Leacock skipping past two. Brian sends it wide. Dwayne Berger goes back centrally. Godino to the captain, Campbell. He drives forward. Can he release a shot? He does. But Akil Henry still stung by that one. He's actually holding his back, you know. He'll need some treatment. He pulls up his shirt. That's the ferocity of that shot. It's given away. Here's Barrow. And Giovanni Leng being captain savior on that occasion. Still action for Waterhouse. Unrelenting. Berger. Can he cook something on this flank? Christopher Ainsworth says, get up. Nothing is doing.
Yeah, question. Unable to keep one.
As a goal.
Excellent movement initially, sneak into two defenders who should have been more clear. Then even after that shot off, he was still first in that penalty area. To details, the minute ones that champions they are Dwayne Allen has a pistol. 10 minutes into the first game, I thought Waterhouse were going to want to this time, but we're inching close. And Cavallier found themselves in front and at top of proceedings for the first time.
You know, as you mentioned, the tactical timeout, such a routine from the goalkeepers. I really hope that FIFA doesn't, or IFAB doesn't get involved in that part of the game, because I can't say I hate it, you know, I really can't say, but I see where all four coaches from the Cavalier staff were giving instructions to the two forward players, Massicott and Kimali Scott, so perhaps they want a bit more dynamism in their movement up top. Let's see if that instruction is materialized. Here's Waterhouse in possession. Leacock to the captain Campbell. Here's Donato Thomas. Kavis Paul, the young Guyanese. Roger Williams, a coach on the midst of the field. I remember when I just started in this industry, Leger, I saw him at a match that I think you were an analyst for. It was, I think, Campion versus Kingston Technical. And he coached Kingston Technical right through the match, and he wasn't an official coach. He was a former coach who was just hanging around, and he was so vocal. Not something that I think can be understated, the benefit of having somebody like that on your team. Someone who's knowledgeable of the game, very vocal, can command players around. We have heard the special one say how significant it was to have real leaders in the locker room much less on the field. Here's Waterhouse. I wax lyrical about that. Action here. Berger can't get it to a teammate in yellow and white. Want to give a quick update to all the viewers watching the remaining Jamaica Premier League semi-final and final matches. You will need to either become a paid member of the official JPL YouTube channel or use the link in the description at jpl.streameai.com to stream the matches. All matches will continue to be broadcasted on Rush Sports 2 in the Caribbean. Here's the corner kick for Waterhouse. Berger. Shamar Watson gets it to Massicott now. His ball forward to Kimani Scott, offside. Action continues. Berger has seen a lot of the ball. Here's delivery. Naron Barrog got ahead to it, trying to keep it alive. Poor pass from Kimani Campbell. Certainly not what he wanted to do. Here's Amos. Can he mop up the damage? Gets it to Reggie Williams.
Waterhouse once more look to build another attack. Man from Panama, Godino, finding Kimani Campbell.
Campbell to Leacock, back to Campbell. Godino. Thomas. They've combined well in the middle of the park. Stringing passes together. Here's Donata Thomas. Trying to use some guile. Nothing much resulting from it. Here's Kimani Campbell. Good defensive positioning though from the Cavallier players. Not giving him an inch to aim for in the box. Really man marking well in the box, Cavallier. Can they go on the fast break now? Ball to Ainsworth. He has pace. Gets by Berger. Gets it around. Here's Kimani Scott, hounded. Begging for the call, the referee. Ignored, and now will dish the card. There was an impetuous tone to that tackle from Kimani Scott. As if he's saying, oh, you stripped me of possession, I'm going to show you. Of course, you can do that on a Sunday afternoon, but certainly not inside the National Stadium for JPL quarter-final action.
And he was punished immediately as well. Waterhouse trying to forge a way through this Cavallier team who have retreated significantly, I would say, since scoring their goal. The shape looking much more like a back five now as well, with Christopher Ainsworth joining that back line. Lewis Watson now a part of a back three firmly. It's making it much more difficult for Waterhouse to find spaces, particularly in behind. I think having a little bit more of those ball players like Mario Sims on the bench, maybe even a Jamon Lyle, to operate in front of the back line could be a way where Waterhouse could try and pick this lock. But having those three players just all across the back line without enough movement hasn't quite been the way for Waterhouse so far, and they need to find a way if they're going to get back into this tie.
Just about 3 minutes left in normal time in the first half. Cavallier in possession here with Shamar Watson. Spread it lovely for Christopher Ainsworth. Took it down well. Already on the card is Christopher Ainsworth. Had a loose elbow on that occasion, and referee Damian Parchment gave the call in favor of Dwayne Berger. What a moment he's had. Aye, Berger. You just never know how a youngster will turn out. I remember when he was perhaps in grade 7, grade 8, thereabout. a mutual friend invited him to play with us at his event, and yeah, his brother who played for Kingston College was really the standout then. Messi, they called him. But I would have never imagined that he would have been the one in the Jamaica Premier League and headed to the Under-17 World Cup as well.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic young talent is Berger. Tough matchup against Christopher Ainsworth down this right-hand side, however. And I have to say it's a battle that Ainsworth is winning at this current moment. Yeah.
Of course, Ainsworth is not a stranger to starting playoff life as a youngster. Has already been in 3 finals. Christopher Ainsworth. Here's Jermaine Bryan. He hasn't been in a final yet.
He's a former Golden Boot winner, however, in the Jamaica Premier League. A couple of seasons ago, 18 goals to his name. Looking to regain that form and possibly score a highly important goal for Waterhouse in this tie. It will be a free kick and Denardo Thomas to whip it in. Can they afford something with only a few seconds to go before the end of this first half?
6 players in the box to aim for. Berger now just outside the box in the D. Thomas with the delivery. Let's go up, headed away by Lang. Here's Berger. Stripped of possession by Donaldson. Leacock wins it back, goes to the byline. Wins the corner kick for Waterhouse. Jimmy Henry there, unable to keep it in.
A minimum 4 minutes to go at the end of this first half. Will be Denardo Thomas once more to take charge of this set piece. Another in-swinger.
Thomas with the corner kick. Barrow was trying to get there, but it was headed away by Cavallier.
Big header from Lang, who's stepping up in a big way in this first half. Has responded very well to his so-so performance in that first leg. That's a hallmark of very talented players.
You know, I've not heard that term so-so in quite a while. Thank you, Leger. Here's the ball forward. Denardo Thomas with a lovely first touch. Still, Thomas has 2 for company. Gets it to Barrow. Barrow trying to snap shot. Was charged down. Still alive. Leacock on the ball. Kimali Scott, ubiquitous with him. Here's Campbell now, trying to make the delivery at the back post. Bryan was arriving. Noise building in the grandstand. Waterhouse trying to turn up the fire.
Jermaine Bryan being told to leave it by the youngster Dwayne Berger.
Loose ball! Oh, lovely snapshot! But it was equal to the task of Jamari Gordon! What a moment for him! What a moment for Bryan! Things can change so quickly!
Absolutely superb save from Jamari Gordon. He was one of those Cavallier players that had a so-so time of it in that first leg. But ever since the second half onwards, he's been sterling.
Here's a corner kick. Still alive for Waterhouse. Leacock! Looking for the V. Didn't find the swing there. Here's another look at that snap save. Or make that the effort from Leacock.
Just about drifting from that far post of Jamari Gordon. And alongside Dwayne Allen, he's a big reason why this game is still favoring Cavallier, and this tie is still favoring Cavallier. Jermaine Bryan doing excellently there.
Here he comes. Gets it across. Thomas! Oh, he was trying to grow an inch. Only an inch he needed there. Oh, wow. Well, they're getting their money's worth, LeJay Williams.
Yeah, really good work from Javane Bryan. Waterhouse still alive.
Donaldson with the clearance for Cavallier finally. You really can't catch your breath, can you?
And at this point, they're just holding on. Our Cavallier. Waterhouse really ramping up this pressure. And I'm sure Cavallier can't wait to hear referee's parchment. Half-time whistle.
Here they come. Watson gets it out wide. They get the call now. A belated whistle from Daniel Parchment.
That whistle will do as well. Finally to release some pressure. And I suspect that they will take quite some time over this set piece as the first half inches to a close.
Christopher Ainsworth over it. Takes it short. And he bides the time. That's the halftime whistle from Daniel Parchment. Waterhouse and Cavallier. Second leg action in the quarterfinal of the Jamaica Premier League. Cavallier, courtesy of Dwayne Allen. Just about at the stroke of the half an hour mark in this matchup. He was able to head onto the goal from LeJay Williams. And then, when LeJay Williams was unable to save, he followed up with an emphatic finish. So, Cavallier.
This May, feel the speed. Rush Sports and Movie Town bring you Formula One like never before. Experience it bigger, experience it louder, experience it on the big screen. The Canadian Grand Prix, May 24th, race starts at 4 p.m. every turn. Every second, amplified. Don't just watch it, experience it with Rush Sports and Movie Town. Get your tickets today at Movie Town.
Here's another delivery. Make that an attempted shot from Christopher Ainsworth, rather ambitious. Waterhouse also grew in the match. Here they came forward through Godina. Was fouled by Adrian Reed, the resulting free kick. Let's see another look at that foul there. Here's the resulting free kick. Denada Thomas was a bit complacent around it, and that one was skied way over the top. This was a snapshot from Shamar Watson. LeJay Williams had to be alert. He was alert. That was danger lurking. Action from Waterhouse. That shot went wide. And Cavallier, they count themselves lucky. That could have been a foul there. Here's a shot. Dwayne Allen. Well wide. More action. This ball sent in the air. Look at the run from Dwayne Allen. He got the header, got the rebound, bang on target. Number 13 doing the business for Cavallier, putting them a goal ahead. More action here. Throw-in from Waterhouse. Look at that shot. Look at that save from Jamari Gordon. He had elastics. More action. That one came alive. Leacock trying to find the top corner, couldn't find it. More action. Waterhouse pushing for the equalizer. That one was so perfectly placed, but only a few more inches needed from Denada Thomas.
Monday hosted an attractive clash. Girona want to rediscover their best version at home, while Real Sociedad is looking to further cement its status as one of the top contenders this season. Two great approaches, face to face. The Bernabeu is dressed for a gala night with a clash of contrasts. Real Madrid want to close the season with pride and joy in front of their fans, while Oviedo face a visit of maximum difficulty, dreaming of an upset. Full pressure in the capital.
And if you can't catch Quaco, you catch him short. Just like the proverb, Bosco Oats is ingrained in Jamaica.
At a time when they look to be just hanging on. Has called for it. And we are right back to square one. It did not take long.